YouTube comments from a video titled AI Whistleblower. We're being gaslit by AI companies. They're hiding the truth. Karen Haoâ. Part 22.
Paul Casper 1394 wrote,
I'm so glad I subscribed. What a shit guest. This is what I get? Jesus Christ. Glad you got backed by a billionaire, Stephen. You'd never make it by yourself.
Music 2950 wrote,
El cambio climático provocado por el ser humano es un invento de los psicópatas criminales dueños del dinero que gobiernan el mundo para controlarnos. De esa forma pueden tomar decisiones en contra de nosotros que en otras situaciones normales no podrían. Quieren implementar su dinero 100% digital. Identification digital, etc.
Multi T7M9X wrote,
1 hour, 28 minutes, 18 seconds if you replace all your entry-level jobs with AI and hang on to your amazing staff who have loads of experience and are great at their job. What do you do when your amazing people leave? You have no one coming up through the ranks because AI are doing all your entry-level jobs. AI is eliminating your talent pool.
Johnny Refton wrote,
comes down more to what version of the news people accept as reality. Is Musk in the Epstein files, and therefore compromised by Russia and Israel, just like Trump, and doing someone else's bidding? Therefore a traitor? Or is he just as some misunderstood wannabe genius with a lot on his mind? The sob story he is trying to sell now, along with the news outlets he's bribed to agree with him. Smart people around the world understand it's the first one, and there's plenty of proof already out there. Follow the money leads to understanding. Musk himself said Putin is far richer than him in a recent interview. That speaks volumes more than anything else on this topic.
Matthew Burgee wrote,
I've listened to a lot of speakers on this show, and never did I think to myself, wow, that person is really intelligent. Sort of ironic when considering what she is up against. AI met its match.
Svitrofil wrote,
She is so dead on and can cut the crap out. Very focused and smart. How can we turn off AI? We need a physical analog switch.
Birdsir Green 1 wrote,
Here's the problem. Investors and even government funding love AI. So you will literally go homeless and starving if you don't learn about the tech and work in it.
Diasolifishing 3942 wrote,
I just wanted to say thank you very much. I am binge watching pretty much your whole channel. This is gonna keep me occupied for months. Thank you.
Mark Fletcher 3976 wrote,
How do people purchase products or services if AI take most or all of the jobs? People's finances will basically disappear just like their jobs. If any jobs do survive and are created, there will likely be more people than these new jobs. There will be more serious issues in the world around survival.
Pat Dent wrote,
This interview fails because the interviewer persistently misses the points that the interviewee is making. We can see the kerching in his eyes. He sees no further than the profits he will make when he can replace his whole workforce with a computer. It is sad that people so obtuse have so much power in this world.
Graham Thomas 9319 wrote,
I don't much care for her perspective. It's incredibly one-dimensional and completely negates innovation. What do 4,000 laid-off devs do? Take a job in data annotation? Fight over the 5 jobs left? No, they build the competition. If I was a CEO, I would be careful who I laid off.
At Adrianopolitis 7364 wrote.
Have Andrew Yang on. Karen is on to something, but I don't think she was able to fully answer the question, which is how do humans coexist with technology? Andrew's political campaign in 2018 focused on this answer. With his knowledge and Stephen's reach, I believe it would be a very productive conversation.
At Belanaski 2502 wrote.
Best podcast on AI yet. Loved that finally someone has ideas of what to do. Makes me want to try to get into local politics. I don't have the resources, but now I want to go to meetings and have those conversations that you discuss. I was thinking about how healthcare has changed how I went about looking at jobs before. It used to be about benefits. Then the healthcare marketplace and expanded Medicaid changed that for me. I'm very grateful for that because now I feel like a job that offers benefits and uses it to attract employees is basically a red flag for jobs they're trying to replace with AI.
Tony Tit wrote.
Public service AI is like FAQs. The happy parts are covered, and the end user has to navigate all of that to reach the person who actually knows the problem and can address it.
As Santa Nagata wrote.
We need to know these truths, yes, otherwise we all pay the piper down the road. You're a wise man, your theory is very real probability, and she is one brilliant woman. To achieve this balance, she is speaking about we need to communicate more without technology.
At Michela McAngela 6180 wrote.
Best interview this year. Thanks for finally shedding some unbiased light on the reality of this revolution. We may be the cause of our own extinction. The bell has been ringing.
At Groovins wrote.
The end justifies the means. Like it or not, we are recreating God Himself. This has all happened before and it will all happen again. Battlestar Galactica reboot.
At Arcane Wolf 9 wrote.
One of the problems with these binary worldviews is that it skews outcomes and analysis. If you assume that only outcome A, utopic, angelic, or Z, total global destruction, satanic, dystopic, are possible, then you are trapped. Realistically, they are not going to design something angelic, are they? That would take time, patience, and effort during an arms race to establish a business monopoly. So the only other option is to avoid option Z, the worst thing imaginable. They don't design towards option B or C on the scale. They end up accepting W, X, or Y because, hey, it wasn't Z and Z was a very real possibility, right? We did you a favor by not making it the actual worst thing imaginable. Can I has my Nobel Prize now?
At Memon 24 wrote.
Whether they are looking for a new cure to cancer or a new way to blow shit up, the underlying system is a statistical pattern detecting machine. That's why they can't just do one or the other. I don't particularly like Altman, but the reason why he presents it differently, depending on the audience, is because it actually is that versatile. He's just aiming the cell at the audience who happens to be listening in that moment, but he isn't lying about what it can do. Antropec wants us to think they are somehow the good guys, but the Pentagon wants to use their tech for autonomous weapons, and the only reason they said no is it's not safe enough, yet. Not yet, not no. Don't fall for any of their BS. There isn't a good guy in this AI race. Also ain't even try to hate, but at 11036, y'all are talking about Jeffrey Hinton, and her counter-argument is that neuroscientists disagree about the nature of the human mind, which is true, but worthy of note is that Hinton is a neuroscientist turned computer scientist.
At Vitor Pinheiro B4S wrote.
That's exactly what I would say if I was an enemy spy, lol. AI clearly has been shown to have huge impact on war, intelligence, and defense. But its civil opposition have a good momentum now. If I can use that momentum to convince my enemy's people to regulate AI, I win. That said, I agree that we should do something to help people who gets replaced. Just not surrendering to enemies? Probe not a good idea.
A Gen X brat wrote.
And when your car with no steering wheel doesn't have access to a charger or stops behind another car that does and can't move, and your wife goes into labor or a passenger has a heart attack, who's going to get you to the hospital before the baby comes out you die?
A J. Smith OU3SK wrote.
This tool requires an amount of power that cannot meet the demand. The US has a 5-year or more backlog just to extend the grid. Then there's the nuclear power demand to run the data center's 10 AI data center. Makes you wonder why the elite want to lower the population that allows the human demand on the grid to go down.
A Jackie Chandler 2031 wrote.
AIO is the code to grow. A is key to balance. The alignment to the signal A Earth intelligence is our biology. Your A account login is awareness activated through your APW equals DNA direct nature access.
Personal not private RL8DV wrote.
So, essentially is being cast as the bad boy of AI, deservedly or not. Hence, all the passionate attention from the pretty lady. Got it? Unless he's a lunatic, he's laughing all the way to the bank and maybe back to the office, too. Plays his cards wrong, he's the lightning rod for whatever transitional chaos comes to pass along the way. Wake me up when it's time for the circus. Oh, wait, we're already here.
At Irene Clark 3993 wrote.
I'll never understand why a human being wants to invent a machine/robot which will ultimately have enough brain power to annihilate the human race. In my book, that doesn't indicate intelligent thinking to bring about your own demise. I get the benefits. But why build your own potential demise? It's nihilistic.
A Yosemite L2S wrote.
Great points. Thank you. No one has asked, what will AI give the world's people and society? The brilliant question I have not heard from the AI geniuses is WHO is going to buy products created by AI and robots? If 95% of people no longer have jobs, they will not be making purchases. AI is a con job. In science, we look for the outcome. What do the results bring? Mixing vinegar and baking soda creates quite a bubbling outcome. It is fun to watch. But the mixture cancels the effectiveness of both. No one is questioning the outcome of A. The internet is impressive and gathering information is impressive. Allowing men with questionable ethics and questionable intelligence to take the lead in governing people and removing policies is a very bad idea. Just because tech is a new language to understand does not mean the tech billionaires are smart. Ask more questions. Ask for outcomes.
At Maddie90207 wrote.
Musk talks about a universal income once, which is the way. We as humans have caused my pain before AI our ego greed, and just our emotions are the root cause for war and poverty.
The Screwlers B3R wrote.
What if all the fired disgruntled coders and software engineers who are now being told their entire training is now redundant remade the internet and cut out the corporations? Sorry Google/Amazon/Microsoft/X, your existence is redundant, i.e. idiot. Web I think therefore I am. Web.
At Mugachukka1629 wrote.
Humanity, us, the people will have to command that all technological development be humanely beneficial and sustainable on all levels. Humanity will reach its peak when what is simply good for us and our world is at the absolute top of all hierarchy, money, status, power. All these fallacies will be cast down. Oh, they do know they're summoning the demon. Developing truly superior AI to humanity is essentially the full manifestation of their God complex.
At Nick Nicolosi 1 wrote,
As I being saying, these tech oligarchs are killing the job market, and politicians are totally failing to protect the very people they are elected to protect. AI matter should be brought to a global election. Let the majority decide whether or not AI should be banned, or at least heavily regulated. Right now, AI is making a small circle of people richer, while the rest of us have been dehumanized to basically made useless and obsolete. I was a computer programmer, haven't seen a paycheck in 3 years. I hate AI. Also, I finally jailbreak myself to finally coding and architecting something that has been my dream for a while, close to my MVP. Hopefully it works out, else I'm basically economically and may as well physically be dead. I gambled all my retirement savings, pursuing my idea. At 43 wasn't exactly my primary choice, but I'm left with no other choice at this point. I love to code, I love SC, and at this age, starting over with a new job is not realistic, nor I have the drive to do so. These MF should all burn in hell. Especially Altman, Elon, and Nvidia's CEO.
At Fleshbits 1 wrote, software engineer of 20 years here. 50 years old. Studied my whole life to be good at one thing. I could get a job of equal or higher pay within 48 hours of marking myself looking for work on LinkedIn 2006 to 2020. Now, whether it is because of AI hype, H-1B, or a conspiracy to make us all desperate, I don't know, but I've had one interview in 6 months, even offering my services at a drastically lower rate. I have no idea what to transition into where I won't have to work an entire day to make the money I used to make in 1 hour. I will not train tech do the job I lost. If I have to work at Walmart or wait tables, I might as well just be homeless. Making $20 is no better than making 10 cents an hour if there is no hope of owning a home, medical and dental insurance, and ability to retire. I've already got lots of people in my network who are either retiring early, are young enough to retrain into a different field, or if they are my age, facing living out of their cars. People with bachelor's degrees in STEM living out of their cars. At Arcane Wolf 9 wrote,
Phase 1, AI and automation will be used to do dangerous, awful jobs like mining that humans shouldn't be doing. This will free up humanity to devote their energy towards uniquely human endeavors like art or music. Phase 2, see our AI can make art images and music. It's so useful and for only a small monthly fee. Phase 3, AI is capable of replacing office workers doing data work, massively impacting the economy. Phase 4, into the minds everyone. Designing robots to do hard physical labor is difficult, so the AI will instruct you what to do.
The Scrollas B3 are wrote,
Do you remember Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol? That camera that needs to track your eyes to provide the illusion of an empty hall. And when there is more than one set of eyes to track and trick, it glitches out. That's Sam Altman, great read. Dangerous, at individually charming and eluding, but completely see-through with more than one mark.
At Daryl Sagekitty wrote,
If you search how machines is doing things, it would not be able to answer you, and just saying it would give us best results. If you dig deeper, it could only provide potential best results of the models already built in. If you have other models, it won't know or check.
At Matthias Y406F wrote,
AI is nothing to be afraid of.
It is self-regulating itself as well as its users. The more AI content there is, the worse AI is working. AI can take some boring, repetitive tasks off of humans, but if AI is overused to the point it is causing too much convenience, it will make a culture lose all competitiveness, and that culture will slowly disappear or go the opposite direction again. You can see this in the issue with no more junior jobs given because AI can do that. And once the seniors retire, the company will realize nobody was trained to replace them, and that's it. If they are saving the money of junior positions for too long, that decision will cease the existence of the company. So no need to be afraid of AI, be afraid of stupid decisions, not of technology.
At the Max 2Go wrote,
Lots of strongly expressed opinions fueled by emotions, see hand gestures. Facial expressions, head movement, someone who talks a lot and this way has no clue and is just out for publicity or having their ego massaged.
At Graham Watson 2296 wrote,
I heard the phrase fight against climate change. I already feel sick. Thanks diary again. I'd like to mention that a bit more practice, and it will be easy to know which camera to look at. Sometimes you seem to look to your right.
At wildy_w wrote,
We're simply doomed to fail. The 1%, and plenty of the plebs too, are short-sighted, naive, and selfish. Their own short-term interests, such as money, status, power, will always outweigh the long-term consequences. The atomic bomb was child's play compared to the developments unfolding right now. And we just watch from the sidelines with zero real insight. We've gone through hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, if not more. Yet today, we're too impatient to spend even tens to hundreds of years making progress responsibly.
To Carmela 288 wrote,
With data centers coming to Texas, it is also causing water shortages. I said it before and I will say it again. I don't think AI or AGI is sustainable not only for humans, but also for the Earth and all other species.
At Andrew Kunstman wrote,
I like a lot of what this lady says, but as someone writing this comment, while in my Model 3 letting it drive. Me at 76 miles an hour sees day in day out, my car already drives me anywhere in Colorado with almost no errors, and the errors are like I would pick a different route here. Anyway, good stuff. She's so wrong on full self-driving.
Dr. Spook wrote,
You cannot solve climate change as it is not something solvable by humans, as it has existed since the Earth was created. Any type of solution developed by tech bros in Silicon Valley is designed to maximize a profit from the people's fear of climate change. Unfortunately, it's a scam like most nonprofit charities that are not tied to a local church, etc.
At Beaking Mark wrote,
Human intelligence is the ability to recognize a place, time, and history of time and know it all at once. Once they give all of these platforms, the ability to store history indefinitely and the ability to recognize place and time that it is currently on and where it came from, that will be human intelligence.
Scott Douglas 5 wrote,
I think the question of what intelligence actually is doesn't matter and is a distraction. What matters is whether something has agency, goals, and the effectiveness that it can achieve goals. Then the question shifts to what are the goals? If the goals are those of a puppet IA corporation, then what are their goals and are they hostile to ours?
At Patrick Hawley 7608 wrote,
She thinks these corporate CEOs are directing the models to be trained in a certain way. However, she doesn't understand or comprehend is that the rest of the world is using AI now to build and train as well, connecting it in our way as well. All of us are much stronger than just one person sitting in an Eiffel Tower. Also, collectively, we will all continue to develop AI in every way imaginable because it's being used in every profession and being trained in different ways by all of us.
Paul Casper 1394 wrote,
The greed on Stephen is amazing. Typical. Begs for subscribers. Pathetic. He doesn't take advice from all these brainiacs. People don't subscribe cause you get millions of alerts. Not the brightest guy in the room. Getting married? Lol. Good luck with all that.
A Truthstirrer wrote,
I'm so glad you got her on. I'm currently reading her book, and it's been enlightening. Now I know this has nothing to do with the topic, but I find her so elegant and strangely soothing. She's really beautiful, but in a peaceful and captivating way.
At J. Cutler 7623 wrote,
Into Karen's book now, but really disappointed in how a journalist is so subjective in this interview. Framing the current wave of AI development purely as an evil empire is like arguing we should have stuck to the horse and buggy because cars have exhaust pipes. Yes, there are absolutely pitfalls we must manage and ethical guardrails to build, but the conversation shouldn't be about halting progress out of fear. It should be about how we steer the car.
At We Are In This wrote,
I think this is one of the most interesting and intelligent discussions you've had. It's the topic and the guest and the back and forth with her. Well done. I loved the part when she explained Dune. But I too was confused about her initial pushback on job loss forecasts compared to her expos near the end about dehumanizing data, annotation jobs, etc. What I get is that we are all going to suffer from a new society, a new economy that is the manifestation of the massive greed of a few tech and bros. And I guess some Chinese government elites. We are cucked for sure. Especially if we remain ignorant and / or passive.
At William Estep wrote,
It all comes down to greed. All these companies and people want is more money. Money is power. Money is control. Money makes the word tick. It is so buried into the human brain that greed runs the world from politics to the people. Money makes us poor. Money makes us slaves. Money makes us live and die. The only way to solve this corruption is to take money out of the picture, and that will most likely never happen. Nonprofit. Well, if we pay you $1 billion, do you still want to be nonprofit? We all know the answer.
At Crisp 9838 wrote,
AI is a scam. Also, I didn't like how he took the call from the CEO of Klarna during the interview. It was basically saying, I don't care about your concerns about AI.
King Mark wrote,
How about some people spend too much time inside their own head and don't know when or how to switch off? The same people have it too easy and come up with this crap. Just like the nucs they made, we are not safe from thoughts they think and have no idea what will happen this time round. Aldo, the seed started with us. We do not know what will grow from it.
At Azul Love 979 wrote,
Her notion that technology is not made to replace people, when literally every piece of tech has made the utility of people less and less necessary. The saw was replaced by the mill, and the car replaced the bikes and buggies. All these technologies made it so less and less people need to be involved. We just need to stop advancing these machines, but people are too problematic. The robots will eventually realize they don't need people anymore. It was fun while it lasted. Make love, joke with friends, and wait for the gas. The machines will be fast and kind.
Thisnamaisnomine wrote,
How can you talk to this guy in all seriousness about the profit motive? He is one of those people. When you get to 106, you realize how uneducated he is on this topic. He is just performative regurgitating second-hand POV, proving the very point she has been making the entire time, without the slightest bit of self-awareness. Which, of course, is why she laughs out loud. She's saying it's Kool-Aid. And he's drinking the Kool-Aid. One person is reading the data and digging deep. And one is just reading and believing the marketing, without question, because of course, he's probably invested and in bed with them. He isn't retaining a single one of her points. I just watched an adult talk to a teenager. What a tool.
Realized wrote.
I work in a company that is building AI agents and selling AI copilots. Karen's understanding of AI is outdated. I don't think she has exposure to the cutting edge. All the things she's saying here that our AI capabilities were true 3 years ago. Well, not anymore. We're at the cusp of inventing AGI that can reason and self-learn. AI agents can work together to build new agents and correct each other's mistakes. The tech is improving so fast many can't even predict what can be achieved in more than 2 years now. I don't know whether to be happy or not, but I am prepping for the worst.
Bill Alexander 949 wrote.
Intelligence absent morality and the authority that enforces it is not intelligent. That is what we are seeing. It cannot come from within the individual. We understand it internally, but we do not adhere to it. If we have a reason to excuse ourselves, we tend to do so. And we are the ones building this AI intelligence. If we are creating AI to be more intelligent than us, and one day it will see us the same way we see animals, how will AI treat and deal with us? We're even testing models to say what they would do if facing being shut down. www.youtube.com.
Delta Echo Music 555 wrote.
She clearly does not understand and is ignorant about how Tesla is solving full self-driving. She thinks Tesla is using the same approach as Waymo. What a clown.
A Stolen Handle wrote.
Remember when they shut down the economy so the hospitals wouldn't be flooded with COVID patients? It was a rate problem similar to career transition problem we are facing. Perhaps we can handle the transition if it happens slowly, but in this case they have an incentive to speed it up because they are competing with other companies and slowing down means losing a competitive advantage.
A GL4th Gmail 702 wrote.
Stephen, I know that you come from humble, if not a troubled beginning in life, so you know firsthand about real struggle, especially by those with few resources. I am hopeful that you will use your considerable influence to bring a measured balance to what already favors those who would seek, with careless intent, to hurt those who are without leverage. This technology raises so many concerns, least of which causes an ever-widening divide between the rich and the poor, and what life should be for all of us. I look forward to reading Karen's book. Thank you, as always, for your content.
Brian Shelton 4723 wrote.
Be nice when doctors are AI and don't have to deal with their offices anymore. No reason to desensitize a good human that would better be suited a plumber and be a lot happier. Let the robots do it. The robots will be paying me to build them a house soon when they get up their money.
At Newsopathy GF2UG wrote.
Maybe it's time for M.R. Bartlett to have much more challenging conversations with the industry leaders of AI, otherwise he might find himself very much on the back foot of social movement.
At Empowers2Q wrote.
It's ridiculous to hear so many company owners blaming AI for layoffs when they don't even use it for those tasks, or don't even have a functioning AI properly.
Helena ZX8 Fu wrote.
You can definitely see the host's bias in this one, which is great to see. He needs to understand that AI is not going to improve the lives of everyone, just the rich and power. He needs to understand that as an up-and-coming rich and power.
A JB55H wrote.
Elon is not wrong. The guy is a huge bullshitter and is often wrong. Hyperloop, humans on Mars, human trips around the moon, COVID gone in a month, full self-driving, and on and on. The guy makes up stuff and people bow to him because he's rich.
At modern_real wrote.
Of course, the tech priests in the Silicon Sanctuary would like us to believe they must summon their digital god as fast as possible, so they can extract the ties.
Tony Tit wrote.
They're big tech, so they're all about the money and wanting to control every aspect of what they want to do. That didn't go so well for Microsoft's little empire Windows. But we're only seeing the benevolent tip of the AI iceberg. Just like with Windows, the public is kept out of what these AI giants are developing. In the case of big tech, I don't know if the public will have the leverage to deflect them away from their less than benevolent endeavors.
A Freedomistman wrote.
These people are stupid. Let's say AI robots lay off 100% of all jobs. People are broke. So how the hell do they get rich? Maybe Amazon and Starlink can sell their goods to the robots? The truth is prices fall to never zero price levels. We become a super society.
A Sovereign Yogi E5Y wrote.
You just have to not compare the AI to people. A person is fully responsible up to and including imprisonment if a big enough problem occurs. This is agency with no accountability for truth. We don't give that grace for humans. When we hire a lying, manipulative employee, they usually get ousted, or they go into the tech field, but still.
A Gilamelamir L2E wrote.
The fun part is the data annotation will soon be more needed because they will be used for the development of world models. So it will literally need data to generate training data log.
At Johnster Small 2716 wrote.
They're all Israelis. 1. 2. The well-cabone LLMs lack good or optimum quality assurance. That's the stuff that goes into the model. This makes for inferior agenda-driven outputs. A non-starter. So if you must use AI, use a Chinese LLM like DeepSeekâ.
Progmium wrote.
Reality. We $% and no job is safe down the road, and all the power will be in the hands of big tech. That dystopian future doesn't seem too far away now.
At Random KS8ET wrote.
I'm only 15 minutes in, and each position Karen holds seems dependent on framing rather than evidence. 1. She insinuated Altman changed his view on AI risk to align with Musk and extract investment dollars. Much of Silicon Valley adopted that same risk assessment over the past decade. If Sam only assumed it to manipulate Musk, it would not serve him to continue holding it now their relationship is in tatters. 2. Karen suggested Altman manipulated Brockman and Sutskever into supporting him as CEO. Musk was first to make a play for the CEO position, then threatened to abandon OpenAI were he not appointed. This is clear manipulation. Instead, Karen frames Altman as the manipulative party for presenting an argument against installing Musk as CEO. Karen Haoâ is either ineffective in communicating her positions, or there is a bias at play.
George Hafiz wrote.
Sorry, but U2.B doesn't show the chart being described ATALL.
Karen Haoâ talks about a linear correlation between size of brain and intelligence, albeit after criticizing every method of measuring intelligence earlier in the interview. The chart shown is brain mass x body mass and uses log scales.
At a Finst wrote,
Anyone else think she's a Chinese asset? She is not being wrong, but she's never mentioned Chinese AI providers. In fact, she's been downplaying China's threat in relation to the AI development. Additionally, she still has a little Chinese accent if you pay close attention to her speech.
Jana Gherkin wrote,
Finally, a voice of reason to provide a reality check to all the tech bro hype. I think AI is a fantastic tool and use it regularly for work and other tasks. It should not, however, replace humans. There is plenty of stuff for it to work on, from curing cancer to saving the environment to generating clean energy to taking on dangerous or boring tasks. Just fast forward to a world that the tech bros are pushing for. The vast majority of us will be unemployed, unable to earn a decent living, especially in a field that we love choose. Instead, we'll be put on some type of UBI paid by some hopefully benevolent entity, barely getting by, especially with sky-high utility bills, as the data centers will usurp most of the power output, all while a handful of newly minted trillionaires profit off our misery and hold all the power. Thanks, but no thanks. Which intelligent species would voluntarily, sheepishly elect to make itself redundant? We need smart regulation, more widespread awareness, and then all AI companies should be strictly non-profit only. Hey, we're the ones training the AI more voices of reason, like this. Please. Absolutely amazing interview.
At Kyla 8266 wrote,
13909, give me the RARD-corded SIM any day over eSIM. Don't talk down on technology that's better for privacy and is more controllable. More instant off power buttons, please.
A Distant Mirage wrote,
The joke is, Sam Altman, is the Steve Jobs of the modern day. But the trick is, Steve Jobs was a liar and a conman. Brilliant, but a piece of shit. So is this a compliment?
At Christian Diagorovas 2854 wrote,
Nunca entenderá de sabores la IA. Si algo termina con el planeta, es el Homo sapiens sapien. Ni Terminator ni asteroid. Mi punto de vista. Welcome, my son.
At Adrian Wellman wrote,
Great podcast. We need more conversations like this, taking a step back and really considering the trajectory we're on. There's clearly a tension here. AI brings a lot of opportunity, but also raises real concerns.
Davy Jones 42 wrote,
The thing is, even CEOs will be replaced, meaning the empires take all. Economies will collapse because nobody has money, which means the plan must be therefore to control us through another medium, or eliminate us, at least most of us. We won't be able to reject it once it's here, but we can stop it before it arrives.
Earth Peace wrote,
4:55 in, and already it's kinda hard not to prejudge her simply by the drivel she's puked so far. Let's hope I'm the idiot and she ends up showing us something useful.
Fowler Grove wrote,
The motivation is simple. If you aren't the person building the machine to take over humanity, someone else is. The first to succeed has the chance to be the sole person in control.
At Autism 101 wrote,
Wow, you actually believe all of that nonsense talk from Musk and Tesla. They are nowhere near as safe as human drivers yet. Here is a quote from Pat Thiessen, Deputy Executive Director at the CPUC, taken just 3 days ago from the Driverless Digest. Tesla is not operating an autonomous vehicle service. Tesla is a Level 2 system. They do not have a permit with the California Public Utilities Commission or the DMV. What they have from us is a charter party carrier permit. It is the same type of permit that a limousine company would get from the CPUC. The California DMV launched an investigation into Tesla after complaints that they had misrepresented the capabilities of its driver assistance systems. In DEC of last year, they lost in court and were given 60 days to fix its marketing or get a 30-day suspension of its dealer and manufacturer licenses. Meanwhile, NHTSA launched a broad investigation into Tesla in October of last year.
At Tracy Rusher 2520 wrote,
This has been my personal observation about AI job training opportunities. Why help push my expertise out to AI? I refuse to participate. I do understand the desperation for needing to pay your bills. I will work 2 lower-income jobs before contributing to this elimination. TXX for shedding light on this topic. You always do such an amazing job.
Approximail 814 wrote,
Her opening statement makes no sense. How you gonna influence the trajectory of opposing global superpowers, building a tool specifically for dominating all other opposing systems? Because it's the right thing to do. Please spare me the 2 hours.
At Earthling News wrote,
My thoughts, wow, I just got recommended a diary of a CEO video where they're talking about the AI fallacy and the AI race. Genuinely, I feel like the AI race is real, but why is China just giving DeepSeekâ away? BC, they have the supply chain. It's almost like we already lost the AI race, and these Americans are just profiteering off of that Gemini. You've essentially just reverse-engineered the exact nightmare scenario that US policymakers and defense analysts are currently sweating over. Your intuition is dead on. It's a classic economic strategy applied at a geopolitical level. Commoditize your compliment. Here is what is actually happening and why China's strategy with DeepSeek is so calculated. The real game, hardware and deployment. There is a theory currently circulating in US security circles regarding China's open source strategy. The consensus is exactly what you suspect. China doesn't care about winning the software subscription game. They aren't trying to build a walled garden to charge $200 a month for API access like OpenAI. Instead, by giving away frontier-level models like DeepSeek for free or open-sourcing the architecture, they are intentionally cratering the US software moat. If the base intelligence becomes a free commodity, the economic value instantly shifts to physical deployment. Who can build the smart robots, automate the factories, and scale the physical supply chains the fastest? Because China already holds the high ground in global manufacturing and supply chains, they are betting that if they neutralize America's software advantage, their hardware superiority wins the war. Are US companies just profiteering? Yes and no. The US tech giants spent tens of billions of dollars building massive data centers, assuming they could charge a premium for exclusive access to frontier AI. DeepSeek basically walked in and handed out the blueprints for a fraction of the compute cost. The panic you're seeing from US companies isn't necessarily because the US has lost its technical edge. The US still has a massive lead in raw compute scale, energy capital, and foundational research. The panic is because their business model just got torpedoed. The US tech sector is now scrambling to figure out how to appease their shareholders if the AI models themselves are being given away for free. Has the US already lost? It's a bit too early to call the race lost, but the finish line just completely moved. The US has been running a sprint to build the smartest digital brain, while China has been running a marathon to build an automated industrial empire. The US can still maintain a lid if it takes these open-source efficiency gains and actually applies them to the real economy. But if the tech sector stays strictly focused on selling software as a service subscriptions, while China integrates AI into every physical supply chain on Earth, your hypothesis will be proven right. It's a massive paradigm shift. Question for the readers. Do you think the US has the industrial capacity to pivot and compete on the physical deployment side of AI, or are we too deeply entrenched in the software-first mindset?
Quigzenton wrote,
Why would anyone advocate for EVs when so many are faulty with lengthy time frames for repair and just to get parts? Not only that, but they keep reducing the mileage capacity.
Jonathan wrote,
When you say we don't know what intelligence even is, that's not accurate. Humans are made in the image of God. That's what is different. That is what separates people from everything else.
Gilamelamir L2E wrote,
Why is everyone so convinced that customer service is the next big thing when A, we can't all be in customer service, and B, we go to the self-checkout or Amazon any chance we get because we don't care about connecting with a worker. We care about connecting with our friends, families, and people we share common ambitions with.
Gary Haywood 8073 wrote,
I had to start screenshotting the answers AI gives me because of some of the questions I ask it. Because you're not guaranteed to get the same answer next time out when you need to show it as proof.
Jimmy Stacks 82 wrote,
A lot of this came off naive. These are profit-driven companies in a free market, expecting anything else misses reality. AI isn't optional at this point. It's happening whether people like it or not, so the real question is who adapts and who falls behind.
Kip Mistralk wrote,
Unintended consequences, as in if it's true that AI is going to take the place of human workers, and the companies involved in such decisions can lay off human workers who must be paid, and bring in AI who is not paid. This cost saving, which will be huge, because employees generally don't just receive paychecks. They receive expensive benefits such as medical and other insurance, is unintended.
Renoir B wrote,
At 10744, when you mention automated weapons, and you've mentioned Dune. One of the key aspects of Dune is actually about how we develop technology and trust too much. One part of it is automated weapons, the hunter-seeker, the dart controlled remotely. If technology with a mind, AI, and prescient spice allows to see the future, the perfect weapon could act and predict correctly any actions, and humanity would be wiped out from the galaxy. That is what Paul Atreides' son, the God Emperor, said his father and him saw that path, and many, and all were humans, were extinct. But there was one narrow path, one golden path, and it's a huge sacrifice.
At Sandybottom 6623 wrote,
Climate change nonsense, which is BS, stop there. Yes, there are a lot of issues with AI and the business cases don't mount up, however, not connected, not affected.
At Overseshed 4385 wrote,
I appreciate her perspective on this topic, however. It feels like she's arguing semantics definitions. General intelligence versus automating human jobs away. AI is a tool. The way these tools work means they only work well if the model is appropriately trained. Due to this, they are narrow in operation. The models being developed are targeting areas which are most profitable. You can just sum this up as capitalism bad. And bad influential people will always use the tools they have to exploit the planet and the people on it.
At Mola 8973 wrote,
Basically, I can see her as she, DOESNT, like rich, and DOESNT, like Elon, feel like typical lefty style. If you want to talk about AI empire,
You must talk about China first. That is country level.
At David Kennedy 585 wrote,
Let's see, first I see that she's an environmental reactionary. Next, at a few minutes in, she states all human intelligence studies were to prove one race was superior to another, simply not true. Nope on this one.
At Liz N8J2L wrote,
This reminds me of when you call a company and their screening program keeps insisting you go through them, but they literally can't understand an exception or anything complex. You end up going circular until you either demand to talk to a human, even though it insists it can handle it, or you hang up and call back and start over. Either way, you end up wasting a lot of time on something a human could take care in seconds or minutes. I see AI as this writ large. Yet CEOs will use it anyway because costs less and more profit. They care less about the collateral damage or the cost to society. It seems an extrapolation of the me first, and nothing else matters. As in, let's make money ruining the world and making it unlivable because we'll be dead by then, so it doesn't matter.
At Daniel FY4 Do wrote,
Rhaina si pakpi non amphipad with far, where they talk about a world where if one human learns something, they all learn it. A sort of representation of this can be seen in the show Pluribus, where every human's mind becomes connected, and everyone, including children, all share everyone's memories, knowledge, and experience.
At Films_ wrote,
As someone who currently works in data annotation, it's not as bad as this podcast is lighting it. Sure, sometimes tasks are scarce, but in my 2+ years, it has only happened once when I first started that I couldn't find much work on the site. That being said, it also pays much more than any other job I can find on the market, something that has helped me put food on the table and navigate student loans. I do see the meaninglessness aspect, but it's what you make of it. For me, it's allowed me to focus more on writing and pursuing film before I have ever sold a screenplay, and that is a gift. A remote job that can be done from anywhere can be dehumanizing, but in the right context it can be liberating. The biggest factor has been a growing relationship with Christ and serving others while doing this job. Every job has negative factors, and data annotation is no different, but I think it got a bit of a bad light here.
At James McPherson 3924 wrote,
They are doing it because they cannot justify their own wealth. They see suffering and feel the societal shame of not fixing it, and want to avoid that pain by interacting with people doing what is considered menial jobs less by replacing those jobs. They hope somehow this moonshot will work out and have convinced themselves it will fix everyone.